Did you know? Batman Arkham Asylum was originally going to feature rhythm action combat. According to senior gameplay designer Paul Denning, Batman would fight him in time with music. As the camera would cut, a new guy would come in and you'd have to punch him on the beat to connect, or you'd end up getting hit. If you had two guys running at you, you'd have to branch off into another piece of music that would seamlessly blend into a combo attack. Although these ideas were scrapped, the final combat system retains some focus on rhythm and well-timed attacks. Rocksteady also considered including driving segments with the Batmobile and Batwing. The driving segments were dropped as the unique gameplay the team needed to create would have required a lot of resources and detracted from the game's overall quality. Eidos Interactive president Ian Livingstone also claimed that a single staff member spent 2 years working on nothing but Batman's cape. This incorporated 700 animations and sound clips alone. During the game's development, another insane enemy was planned to appear alongside the Arkham lunatics. The straitjacket henchman was going to move in a similar way to other crazed inmates, but would wield a blunt weapon. He was scrapped early on, but still made it into the game as a severed head in a jar in the medical facility. Early promotional images for Arkham Asylum also show more blood than there was in the final game. One image even had the Riddler's cell covered in bloody footprints and writing. The blood was changed to green paint in the final game. Another screenshot showed a large bloodstain on the floor of the patient pacification chamber. In the finished game, this stain is colored black. These changes were most likely made to ensure a lower age rating. There was also originally a French inscription in the Riddler's cell that read, "I loved, I suffered, now I hate." As the developers were working with the original Batman license, they didn't specifically reference elements from the movies when designing characters. Batman's design was based on the art of Jim Lee, while the Joker's look was taken from his appearance in The Killing Joke. Early concepts for the Joker depicted him with a heavily scarred and torn mouth. This was thought to be too similar to Heath Ledger's Joker, however, so the developers opted for a different design. The team considered having Mr. Freeze and the Mad Hatter appear as enemies in Arkham Asylum. According to writer Paul Dini, the Mad Hatter would have been found at the center of a garden maze hosting a tea party. However, the scenario didn't really fit the tone of the game, so it was left out. Although the developers wanted Mr. Freeze to appear, they ultimately decided against including him. They believed he had no motivation to fight Batman or the Joker. One of the biggest influences on the game is the graphic novel Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth. Paul Dini did stress that the game isn't a direct adaptation and has a very different tone. The game and comic do contain several similarities, however. Late in the comic, Batman encounters a delusional doctor who found the journal of Amadeus Arkham and believes he's destined to continue his work. In the game, Warden Sharp also suffers delusions after discovering the writings of Amadeus Arkham. If the player collects all of the Spirit of Arkham recordings, they reveal that the founder's wife and daughter were murdered by Martin Mad Dog Hawkins, a story that also appears in the comic. Some of the dialogue in Harley Quinn's patient interview tapes is taken straight from her original origin story, sometimes even quoting it word for word. Her origin story was first told in the one-shot comic Mad Love, which was later made into an episode of the new Batman Adventures. Both the comic and the episode were written by Harley Quinn's co-creator Paul Dini, who went on to write Batman Arkham Asylum. The patient interview tapes for Scarecrow also mention a Dr. Murphy and Dr. Combs. These are likely references to Cillian Murphy and Jeffrey Combs, who played the Scarecrow in the Dark Knight trilogy and the new Batman Adventures, respectively. The game contains a couple more references to the Batman movies. In the observation room, a ticker displays, "Dr. Clooney, please report to gynecology," a reference to George Clooney, who starred in Batman and Robin. The name of the Simlex toxin is taken from the name of the beauty products that Joker contaminated in the 1989 Batman film by Tim Burton. Although the game has many easy-to-find references and Easter eggs, the game's biggest secret wasn't discovered until almost a year after it first came out. There's a hidden room inside Warden Sharp's office. It isn't marked on the map, and Detective Vision doesn't reveal anything unusual about the wall hiding it. The room can only be opened by detonating several loads of explosive gel. Inside, the player will find plans for Arkham City, foreshadowing the next game. This Easter egg was so well hidden, the game's developers had to leak it themselves. GameStop ran a contest for fans to have their likeness featured in the game. The winner's character can be found in the penitentiary control room, pacing in his cell. The winner's name, Luke Oliver, can also be spotted on the Joker's guest list. Also, when Batman first visits the penitentiary and hears all the inmates screaming, it was actually a recording of the game's entire development team. The photos randomly scattered around the floor are simply pictures of the developers. In the medical facility, the player will hear messages advertising the Asylum's website, ArkhamCare.com. This website actually existed for a while as part of the game's viral marketing. Following cues posted on the Gotham City municipal site, fans could unlock content such as video feeds, emails, and audio files from the Asylum using the employee login. If the game detects that the player is using a pirated copy, it will trigger various restraints programmed by the developers. One persistent hindrance was that Batman wouldn't be able to glide. As one of the early stages involves gliding across a room filled with poisonous gas, pirates would be unable to progress past that point, as Batman would always fall into the gas and die. These anti-piracy measures became well known after a player asked the Eidos forum what was wrong with his game 10 days before it was officially released. The administrator replied, "The problem you have encountered is a hook in the copy protection to catch out people who try and download cracked versions of the game for free. It's not a bug in the game's code, it's a bug in your moral code." If you click this video, you're probably into games, comics, and movies. If you want to wear apparel covered with your favorite franchises from pop culture, consider subscribing to Level Up. Level Up is a monthly subscription service from the creators of Loot Crate and brings pop culture themed attire directly to you. This service has a different theme each month, and everything in the box is based on that theme. This month's Level Up box has clothing based on Harry Potter, Deadpool, and more. Level Up has multiple subscription tiers ranging from just $8.99 up to $20.99. Level Up are offering Did You Know Gaming viewers 10% off their subscription. If you're interested in exclusive gaming and pop culture themed apparel and want to support Did You Know Gaming, head over to lootcrate.com/DYKG2 and enter the code DYKG2 for 10% off any new subscription. You can get there by clicking the link below. Don't forget to subscribe to Did You Know Gaming for more facts and trivia. If you're a fan of Batman, you should go check out our Dark Knight Trilogy video over on Did You Know Movies as well. You should also check out Liam Robertson's video on the canceled Dark Knight game.